Yes, now you tell me. So this is the module forensic audit. Forensic is the word we listen generally from movies. What kind of movies? Crime thrillers, serious offenses, crimes, suspense movies, murders. Okay, there we listen to the word called as forensic, and this is the word which is used for finding the facts. Fact finding story will be there. Okay, there we use this forensic. So similarly, the word which we listen from movies is now picked up and kept in the subject called as audit. So here also we deal with crimes only, but these are the financial crimes. These are not the regular crimes what we watch in movies. So this is a different thing which is restricted to finance and which is restricted to business related crimes. Okay, so this is called forensic, and generally, and this word forensic we use for court proceedings. Say for example, there is a crime which has happened in a company, and this crime which moves to court, and court ordered forensic audit to be done. Now as a forensic auditor, I need to do some investigation, some facts I need to identify, and I need to present those facts before court. So forensic audit, it is primarily related to whom? Courts. So it is a fact finding theory or fact finding person, forensic auditor, who needs to provide that evidence, produce that evidence before whom? Court. Okay, so general meaning, let us now try to understand the definition. It is an independent and comprehensive. Comprehensive means what? Covering all areas, detailed. Okay, independent, comprehensive and scientific approach towards what? Towards reviewing the financial statements. Reviewing the financial statements to determine its accuracy, to see whether it is free from material misstatements, and to collect evidences to be used in the court of law, which should be highlighted. So normally, independent, free from material misstatements, these are the words we understood while we study the definition of audit. Audit definition itself, it says about whether the financial statements are free from material misstatements or not, right? But however, here the same words are repeated, but the final word which is used is court of law. Court of law. So what is the ultimate purpose of this forensic audit? The evidences what we gather as auditor must be produced before court. So court of law. So these are the words we need to remember. So definition, come to the definition again. It is independent, comprehensive, scientific approach towards reviewing the financial statements. This is also related to financial statements only. Okay, and to determine the accuracy of the financial statements and to know whether it is free from material misstatements or not, and that evidence should be produced before whom? Court of law. Court of law. The collective evidence, to collect evidences to be used in the court of law. So definition, it is very easy. And why the forensic audit? What may be the reason? To expose or confirm illegal activities. So to confirm the illegal activity, whether it is happened in the organization or not. So after we do the forensic audit, we will be in a position to say whether the illegal activities happened or not. If it is happened, how much extent we got the advantage, and we and the criminal who has done the fraud. Okay, what is the advantage he gets? What is the loss the organization faced? That can be quantified. After doing the forensic audit, he may confirm, the forensic auditor may confirm what? Whether the illegal activities happened or not, and if it is happened, what is the extent of the loss the organization suffered. So this can be quantified. This can also be quantified. It is a detailed way of doing the audit. Detailed, investigative methodology. So it is a fact-finding authority. And in fact, the evidence is what we gather. It is not persuasive. It is conclusive. Persuasive and almost correct. Conclusive means what? It is correct. So you can say yes, this is the fraud happened, this is the person who has done the fraud, and this is the money which is lost from the point of view of organization. This can be said by the forensic audit, right? It is not persuasive evidence. It is what? Conclusive evidence. So audit is about persuasive audit evidence. Audit is different. Forensic audit is different. Audit is restricted to what? Giving an opinion on the financial statements, whether it shows true and fair view or not. It may not be used in court of law. However, forensic audit, it extends its wings to court of law. The evidences may be used in the court of law. A detailed investigation, fact finding. Also, one more point I discussed. What is that? Audit is only a persuasive audit evidence. However, forensic audit is conclusive audit evidence, right? So, reasons for forensic audit. What are the reasons? Point number 1, to expose or confirm the illegal activities. Point number 2, to collect evidences and to be used in court so that trial can be completed. Trial and the proceedings in the court. Trial starting nunchi ending, from starting till the end of the case, the movements or the proceedings will be called as trial. So the trial can be completed in the court of law by using the evidence which is produced by forensic auditor. Clear? Now come to the first point, meaning. It refers to analysis and review of the financial records of the company. So is it only restricted to company? It is not only restricted to company. It may be extended to some other forms of businesses. Okay, any form of business, if there is any fraud which is taken place, and that may be investigated using the techniques of forensic audit, right? It may not be extended only, it may not be restricted only to a company. It may be extended to other forms of business also. And any kind of person. Here, it may be a company or any person. To extract the facts to be used in the court. So first point, is it clearer? First point, it refers to making an analysis and review of the financial records. Review of the financial records of any company or a person for the purpose of extracting the facts to be used in the court. Easy only. Forensic auditors must be expert in accounting and auditing. Easy only. Simply, they must be, in order to identify whether there is a mistake or not, he must be having that knowledge. If you want to say something is a mistake or not, then you need to know it first of all. So you need to have the expertise in accounting and auditing. Most importantly, they must use the investigative mentality. Investigative. So TI, not LI. TI. Change the spelling. It's what? Investigative mentality. So professional skepticism at highest level. Just like that, they do not accept the answer set by the management. Investigative mindset must be there. Professional skepticism at peaks. Okay, always having the questioning mentality, questioning mindset, doubtful mindset. Just like they don't accept the answers given by the other people. Okay, being a forensic auditor, one ends up attending. Finally, what is going to happen after getting the evidence? That forensic auditor may need to go to court. One ends up attending what? Court proceedings. Okay, see here. Being a forensic auditor, one ends up attending court proceedings. Because he is the expert who knows everything now. So, expert witness. He may attend to the court and explain what happened in the organization. Right? This type of the audit is different from financial audit. Yes or no? So, financial audit is only a persuasive evidence. However, forensic audit is conclusive evidence, right? Yes. Functions of forensic audit. Next area. Functions of forensic audit. Point number 1, planning the investigation. So first and foremost, always we need to plan the audit. Plan, right? Even for the normal audit also, we plan at the beginning. Okay. So this forensic audit will also be started with the plan. So planning the investigation. Forensic auditor and his team shall first plan, okay, or investigate to meet their to meeting kadadi to meet their objectives, to meet their objectives, right? So planning must be there, perfect plan must be there to achieve their objectives. What is the objective of the forensic auditor now? Fact finding, collect the conclusive evidences which can be used in the court. So that is the objective of the forensic auditor, and for that purpose he needs to do what? Plan. So first point, what is to be highlighted? Planning. And after planning he must apply some procedures, collecting the evidences, see, should be sufficient to prove in the court. So PROVE, should be sufficient to prove in the court, and also able to identify the fraudster who has done the mistake. So also able to, so evidences must be able to find out whom the fraudster. Okay, so how the evidence must be? Evidence must be capable enough to prove in the court of law, and also capable enough to identify the fraudster. Easy, only first point. And also the evidence must be able to reveal the details of the fraud. Details, and what may come in the details? What is the fraud? What is the amount involved in the fraud? Who has done the fraud? At what time it has happened in the organization? All the details of the fraud must be given in that evidence, right? Details of the fraud and meaning, right? Point number C, to show the financial loss or financial loss which is suffered. Okay, the point already discussed. So evidences law, what needs to be there? What is the amount of loss that is suffered by the organization? And the last one, to show parties affected by the fraud. So because of that fraud, who got affected, who has done the fraud, and who got affected by the fraud. So all these things must be properly collected. So evidences must be properly collected. How the evidence must be? What is the answer now? Evidence must be capable enough to prove in the court of law the identity of whom? Fraudster. And what are the details of the fraud? Who has done it? What is the amount? At what time it has happened? All these things must be there in the details of the fraud. So evidence and ethics. Next one. So finally it must be reported. So after everything is known, then it must be properly reported. Okay, if the government appoints that person, then that person must be giving that report to whom? Government. Company appoint chese, there is a shareholders collectively they appointed whom? Forensic audit. Now the forensic auditor's report is to be addressed to appointing authority, right? So reporting, to make a written report, always remember it is a written report, not an oral report. Written report on the crime and deliver it to client, who shall decide to file a legal case. See, there is a company which is to be run by board of directors, right? So all the money is collected from shareholders, and board of directors has committed a huge fraud. So shareholders got it out, and shareholders appointed a forensic auditor. Now forensic auditors committed all the required procedures, has done all the required procedures, and he collected some good evidence, and the evidence is given to them. Now they decided to go to court. Right? Or you can say like this, lot of fund is taken by the board of directors from banks, and huge fraud happened, and the lender, now the banks, may appoint forensic auditor, and the forensic auditor may report to whom? Now banks, and the bank may now decide to go to whom? Court. So in that court, this evidence obtained by the forensic auditor may be produced, right? So last one, court proceedings. Please read court proceedings. Forensic investigator must be present in the court. The person who has done the audit must present in the court. What is the reason for the same? Because since it is the evidence which is gathered by the forensic auditor, he needs to be there in the court for the purpose of giving the clarity of the evidence. Okay, see, forensic investigator must be present in the court to clarify the evidence collected, to show suspects were found by the team. Even to clarify the evidence collected and show the suspects who were found by the forensic audit team. Easy only. Last one, please read. Functions. What are the functions of forensic audit? There are 4 points. First one, planning the investigation. Second one, collecting evidences. Third one, reporting. Fourth one, court proceedings. Okay. If it is required by the court, the forensic auditor needs to present in the court for the purpose of giving clarity of the evidences. Right? Need for forensic audit. Next area. Okay. So in which area he is specialized? First point. In which area is he specialized? Accounting and audit. So being in a specialized field, forensic auditors have emerged in the field of fraud. So wherever the fraud is taken place, the person who needs to be identified is forensic auditor. Then he needs to be informed and he will come and he will investigate. Right? So fraud in a word, when you listen to the fraud word, so mostly మన thinking ఎటువైపు వెళ్ళాలి? It needs to be we need to think of forensic audit, right? So investigation, serious irregularities and red flags in the organization. Red flags. Okay. There are few examples due to which forensic auditor must be hired. Examples where the business systems have been hacked. Business known systems have been hacked and lot of damage has been suffered by the organization. Then we may inform whom? Forensic audit. Point number 2, issues identified by the whistleblowers. Whistleblowers and who are whistleblowers? Say we all people are the employees here in this organization. In this organization, we all are the employees. And out of all of us, Pawan Teja identified a problem, and there may be a case of fraud, and this problem he wants to escalate to the higher authorities. We are all the employees and I am doing the fraud. It is identified by whom? Pawan Teja. And now Pawan Teja wants to escalate this matter to whom? Higher level authorities like board of directors or shareholders. Okay. Now he is called as whistleblower. Inform చేస్తాను అనమాట. He is the person who is informing to higher levels, higher authorities. Okay. Issues identified by the whistleblowers. Now, after getting noticed by the board of directors about the fraud from whom? Whistleblowers. Now the board of directors may initiate the forensic audit. Okay. Now the forensic auditors may identify Mr. Ravi who has done the fraud. Simple only. Next point. To understand the material differences. A lot of times the budgeted figures, say example, previous year there was huge turnover of the organization, but the current year it was drastically changed, reduced. What may be the significant difference for the same? Why is this happened? Forensic audit may be happened. Last year 10 crores turnover, current year 1000 crores turnover. How is this happened? Is it a fraud which is taken place? It may be investigated by forensic audit. Okay. There is any suspicious of fraud ante, so indications. Suspicious ane kanna use the word called as indications. If there are any indications of fraud or illegal activities. Sales are increasing but gross profit is decreasing. Sales are getting increased. Usually gross profit must also be increased, right? Or at least it must be same. However, what is happening? The gross profit is coming down. What may be the reason for the same? Booking of over expenditure. Sales are getting increased, but expenditure is also getting increased drastically. Okay, and the reasons must be now identified. So these are the basic examples where we need to have forensic audit in place. Okay, please read. Need for forensic audit. Please complete. All these are 4-mark questions. Complete need for forensic audit. Forensic audit is closely related to audit or investigation? Investigation. Investigation mindset, not audit mindset. Simple. Let's go to forensic audit procedures. Okay. So it is more of investigation and collection of evidences with an attitude of professional skepticism. This was over already. Done. Come to point number 2. The procedures under forensic audit are known as forensic data analysis and fraud investigation techniques. So a procedures vaadtamanta, we use the procedures called as, what kind of processes are there? Fraud investigation techniques. Fraud investigation techniques we use. But most commonly used tool is known as triangle, in which there are 3 elements. See, in an organization, for the purpose of investigating fraud, there may be 3 reasons. There may be reasons. For the purpose of happening a fraud, there may be 3 reasons. Because of these 3 reasons only, generally, fraud will take place in an organization. So, anduku triangle ki how many sides are there? 3. Right? So, దీన్ని triangle అని పిలుస్తాం. We call it as triangle. So, on the first side, pressure or incentive. First one is called as what? Pressure or incentive. Second one is called as rationalization. Rationalization. Okay. Third one is called as opportunity. Third one is called as what? Opportunity. Now let us discuss these 3 in detail. Pressure, rationalization, opportunity. So PRO. Pressure, rationalization, opportunity. So what exactly it is meant by pressure? Now you tell me one thing. I am the sales manager here. I am given with a target of achieving 1 crore rupees in this month, which is not happening. Okay, I achieved only 50 lakhs. And because of my fear, I may commit a fraud showing it as 1 crore. So is there any pressure on me to commit the fraud or not? Yes. Right? Because it is leading me to do a fraud. This pressure is leading me to a fraud. Easy, first point. Come to second point. Rationalization. Okay. These are the persons who are born to do the fraud. Rationalization. Okay. They always do the fraud and they always find some reason for the same. Say example, since many years I am doing I am under employment in this organization since many years, but there is no promotion which is given to me. Promotion available. And even I am not getting salary hike. I started in this organization at 8,000 rupees and after 8 years I got 800 rupees increment. Okay, this is the reason for me, and now I decided to do the fraud. I decided to take home all the assets of the organization slowly. Okay, I just want to take or misuse all the assets of the organization, commit fraud, and there is a reason for me. What is the reason for me? What exactly is meant by rationalization? Rationalization ante ability to convince others. This is called rationalization. You do some mistake and you try to cover it up. Okay, and this is the reason for me, so that and I have committed this fraud and check situations. Okay, this may be the reason in an organization where there may be a possibility of happening of fraud. Okay, you people are the employees now in this organization. You joined 8 years back with 8,000 rupees salary and you have not received any hike till now. And this is the reason for you to commit some fraud in this organization. Now, as a forensic auditor, I identified this kind of situations. Okay, either there may be pressure or there may be a rationalization for the employees to do so. To do so and to do frauds, right? Point number 3. Okay, opportunity. Generally, those persons who commit fraud in the third category, okay, they are not fraudsters. They are good people only. They are good people. Even in the first point, they are good people only. Because of pressures only, they are committing some fraud. Here the last one. Say example, I'm okay, brother of Harishchandra. Okay, I'm brother of Harishchandra. One fine day I came to this organization when no one is there. I identified uh, a deficiency in the internal control where the CC cameras are not placed, and on this table, okay, there are around 10 lakh rupees money, cash. Okay, cash. అలా ఫ్యాన్ ఆన్ చేస్తుందట, అలా ఎగురుతున్నాయట అవి. ఓకే, దోస్ నోట్స్ ఆర్ ఫ్లయింగ్. ఓకే, యూజువల్లీ ఐఎమ్ అ గుడ్ పర్సన్, బట్ ఐ ఐడెంటిఫైడ్ ఆపర్చునిటీ టు మిస్యూజ్ దట్ అసెట్ యాజ్ నో వన్ ఈస్ వాచింగ్, and hence I may override the control now. Okay, ఆ control override చేసి what I can do now, I can take home all this money. It is just a opportunity. Yes, తస్కరించుట. Hey, he is a good person, but still there is an opportunity which made him like that. Okay, so these are the 3 words. Is it only? Yes, triangle, 3 sides. Pressure, rationalization, opportunity. Let us read. So pressure, circumstances which pushes the person to commit a fraud. Basically he is a good person, but something is pushing him to do the fraud, right? Come to second one, rationalization. When a person already knows that it's a dishonest act, he knows it, but he has still done it. Opportunity, when you know flaws and weaknesses in the system. So opportunity meaning enti, higher level authorities, they know everything, when the CC camera will be there, where it is there. Okay, all the details they know, and hence they try to identify the loopholes and they override the controls, commit the fraud. Right? Easy only. That's it. Investigating methodology. It's a 9-step method for fact finding. First one, read చూడండి. Investigating methodology, read first one. Accept the forensic audit. See, generally in TV channels we find a program called as Vanta Varpu, cooking channels. Okay, so they'll try to explain how to cook, say example biryani. Okay, అందులో ఫస్ట్ స్టెప్ గా okay, please on the stove. Okay, keep fire, keep a pan. అవునా, ప్యాన్ వేసి అందులో ఆయిల్ వేసి ఈ స్టోరీ, ఎవరే వంట చెప్పరా నువ్వంటే వంటని చెప్పకుండా గ్యాస్ ముట్టించండి, ఇలా. వాట్ ఈస్ దిస్ ఫస్ట్ పాయింట్? యాక్సెప్ట్. ఫస్ట్ పాయింట్ యాక్సెప్ట్. ఎలా ఉందంటే, ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ టు పాస్ సిఏ ఫైనల్, గో అండ్ జాయిన్ ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్. ఇలా ఉన్నారు ఎవరైనా టిప్స్ చెప్పారు. ఇప్పుడు నేను ఇఫ్ ఐ కీప్ యూట్యూబ్ వీడియో హౌ టు పాస్ సిఏ ఫైనల్, I have kept a video on that. Okay, అందులో ఫస్ట్ పాయింట్, స్టెప్ నెంబర్ 1, యూ నీడ్ టు జాయిన్ సిఎన్ పెట్టి. అంత కామెడీగా ఉంటుంది, అవునా? అలా ఉంటుంది కామెడీ. యాక్సెప్ట్ ద ఫోరెన్సిక్ ఎంగేజ్మెంట్ అట. ఫస్ట్ స్టెప్, 9 స్టెప్స్ లో ఫస్ట్ స్టెప్ యాక్సెప్ట్ ఫోరెన్సిక్ ఎంగేజ్మెంట్. పాయింట్ నెంబర్ 2, evaluate suspicious activities and allegations. Suspicious activities and రాసుకోండి. Please write suspicious activities. Conduct background check by due diligence. Due diligence means carefulness. Understand the background. Complete the preliminary stage of investigation. Okay, assume a prediction that there will be a litigation. These are there. Assume a prediction that there will be a litigation. So before we do this forensic audit, you need to assume like it is going to be presented in the court of law. When you go to the court, definitely lawyer or judge will ask you so many questions so that you should be in a position to answer. So and hence you need to keep that in mind. There will be a litigation and later on someone will ask me a question. So that you need to work accordingly. Right? So what is point number E? Assume a prediction that there will be a litigation. There will be a litigation. Right? Next one. Now begin with external investigation. External investigation. Carry out analysis on the evidences collected. On the evidences collected. Prepare report on findings. So out of 9 points, first point, last point, both are very easy. See last point. Attend court proceedings. See 8th point also. Prepare the report. Functions of forensic audit law, there are 4 points. Last 2 points into reporting and court proceedings. And even second point is also related to evidence. See here 7th point. Carry out analysis of evidences collected. So read all those points. Easy. Accept the engagement. No any suspicious activities or allegations. Evaluate them. Do some background verification. Background check. Due diligence means what? Careful. Complete the preliminary stage of investigation. Okay, basic information you obtain. And then start doing detailed verification. And after getting the evidence, make an analysis of the same, report, and attend to the court. Easy only. Next one. Common areas of fraud in forensic audit. Common areas of fraud. Listen to me carefully. In fact, it is divided into only 2 areas. Misappropriation of asset, fraudulent financial reporting. As per CA, as per standard number 240, SA 240, fraud may be of 2 types. Misappropriation of assets, MOA, misappropriation of assets. Second one, FRF, fraudulent, FFR, fraudulent financial reporting. FFR, fraudulent financial reporting. However, in CMA book, it is subdivided into 5 parts. Subdivided into 5 parts. Point number 1, misappropriation of assets. Listen to me, there is a client called Lalita Jewelries. Okay, small assets like gold. Employees in the organization, they are taking them home. Is it called as misappropriation of assets or not? Small one only. చిన్నది కొట్టేసి చాలా. Okay, చిన్న gold biscuit pocket లో పెట్టుకుని you go home. You will be rich next day. అవునా? Yes, చిన్న అంటే ఏంటి? Small. ఇది తెలుగు కదా. Okay, so misappropriation of assets. Point number 2, extortion. Getting the money forcefully. Extortion అంటే ఏంటి? Getting the money forcefully, not possible ways, illegal ways. Corruption అది. Third point, corruption. Fourth point, FFR, fraudulent financial reporting. The financial statements are misstated for the purpose of deceiving others, showing the sales high, keeping the purchases low. For what reason? Showing the profits high. Okay, profits high. There may be other side also, keeping the sales low, keeping the purchases high to make profits low for the purpose of non-payment of tax. If you show less profits, what will happen? You don't need to pay income tax. For that reason, you are doing that. So making the fraud in relation to financial statements. This is called as fraudulent financial reporting. So this is again subdivided into FSF, financial statement fraud. And the last one is conflict of interest. Conflict of interest ante say I am the person who is the director of 2 companies. Okay, here I have 90% of shareholding in one company, 20% of shareholding in another company. Okay, ఏం చేస్తానంట, I try to get the advantage for this company because I am having 90% share. Okay, whereas that advantage may be from the other company where I lose only 20%. In the lunch 20. So I may make the companies enter into a transaction where this company will be at advantage and that company will be at loss. Here 20% loss, here 90% advantage. This is called conflict of interest. I may do such kind of frauds, getting the advantage from one company. There may be a case I am losing the profits from other company. 20% loss in here I am getting 90% gain. Ala cheyachu, conflict of interest. This is a situation. Okay. Business frauds or corporate frauds, and why do they happen? Why do they happen? Please read. Meaning. మీరు చెప్పండి, కార్పొరేట్ ఫ్రాడ్స్ అంటే ఫ్రాడ్స్ హ్యాపెనింగ్ ఇన్ ఏ కంపెనీ. Generally, there is high possibility to happen or to there is high possibility of frauds in companies. Reason? Reason ఏంటంటే usually in a company investors are different, the persons who has done the business is different, right? So shareholders are the investors, but board of directors, they do business. So there may be a possibility shareholders, they invest and they are not regularly participating in the business, right? They may not be in a position to understand what is happening in the organization, and there is high possibility to commit fraud in this type of organizations. Ade nene owner anukunte, I am going to the organization regularly, and there may be a possibility for me to identify the fraud if it happens in the organization, because I am participating regularly. However, company formula, it is not happening like that. The persons who are doing the business is different, and the persons who are investing in the company is different. Okay, and hence it is significant. Please read first one. Corporate frauds consist of illegal, unethical, deceptive actions consists of committed by whom? Which is committed by company or the person working in the company. Okay, it is carried out in such a planned and logical manner. Okay, ఎంత బాగా చేస్తారంటే it is done in a planned and logical manner, fraud. Okay, that an office full of forensic accountants, okay, and they అక్కడ రాసుకోండి, office full of forensic accountants work for months, is required to detect such. అది డిఫెక్ట్ కాదు, detect is required to detect such corporate frauds. Corporate frauds చేస్తానట, it is too very difficult to identify because they are done అలా such a planned and logical manner లో careful గా they do such frauds, and identification of such frauds is very much difficult. It takes several months. Office full of forensic accountants, they do that, and for the purpose of detection of the frauds. Satyam scam after 10 years ఎప్పుడు తెలిసింది అది. So too many years they do that fraud, and finally one fine day it will be exposed. So the victims are, chaduko, please read. Because of that fraud, who will be the victim? Victims may be consumers, investors, clients, customers, creditors, includes lenders. And ultimately, after the fraud is happened, the organization may go into bankruptcy, liquidation. Why the corporate frauds take place? Why the corporate frauds take place? Enduku? See, here I am the board of director of this organization. I need more investments. To expand my business. So when I go to a bank to get the investment, they will ask me the financial statements, and it needs to be highlighted more profits. Then I need to show them more profits for the purpose of getting investments. Okay, and I do a fraud in the financial statement showing more profits, go to the bank, get the loan. Is this a fraud or not? So what is the first reason for the fraud to happen? The desire or perceived need to attract whom? Yes, attract or retain the investors. It is generally done to make the company appear more profitable than it is. The company is getting only less profits, but these people are trying to make it more for the purpose of getting the investments, right? So and reach చూడండి ఇక్కడ ఏమనుంది here to attract and retain the investors. Very simple. Point number 2, problems and defects with the company's products. Okay, there may be problems or defects in the company's products which they try to hide, generally found in pharma sector. ఓకే, కార్పొరేట్ ఫ్రాడ్స్, బిజినెస్ లో కార్పొరేట్ ఫ్రాడ్స్ ఎలా చేస్తారట? సే ఎగ్జాంపుల్, దేర్ ఇస్ మీకు తెలుసు మాలిక్యూల్స్ ఆర్ దేర్, ఫార్ములాస్ విల్ బి దేర్, డిఫరెంట్ మాలిక్యూల్స్ ఆర్ యాడెడ్ టు ఫైండ్ అవుట్ ఎ మెడిసిన్. ఓకే, అండ్ దే నో దిస్ మెడిసిన్ వోంట్ వర్క్. ఎవరు? దిస్ pharmaceutical companies, they know the medicine won't work, but still they sell. One fine day they will be caught. Is this a fraud or not? They sold all these medicines across the country, made huge profits, even after knowing the molecule doesn't work, the formula doesn't work, right? This is a corporate fraud. Generally we see these kind of frauds in pharmaceutical companies. Next one, inspiration from major corporate frauds in the world. So why do they happen ante after getting the inspiration? A lot of frauds have happened across the world. Why can't we do this? And then they get inspired and do the fraud. Ala konni major frauds are there, so you don't need to go and study each and every fraud now. Avasram ledhu, you just need to highlight the names. There is a company called as Enron company. They have committed the world's biggest accounting fraud. Accounting principles lo kuda lot of fraud can be happened. Telsa? Accrual basis lo generally you do accounting based on accrual basis lo you can book lot of sales without receiving the money, right? They book a lot of sales, right? So in this way you can increase the profits. Alana, I'm not talking about Enron company right now. Any kind of fraud accounting lo it can be easily done, because it is not cash basis, it is accrual basis. So there are certain principles which are there in the accounting. If you misuse those principles, what will happen? Huge fraud you can do. Accounting principles. Okay, huge fraud. Say salaries. Lot of employees you can keep without payment of salary. Accrual basis lo book the salaries expenditure. You are not paying them. Cheyachala. Lot of estimations are involved. So example, you sold the goods and provision for doubtful debts రాసేస్తున్నారు మొత్తం. Estimation only. Estimation, right? And lot of times మనం valuation, share valuation, you by this time you must be in a position to understand. చాలా మంది big companies లో shareholders will be there. Those shareholders, hello, I have 90% shares of Reliance. 90% shares. Okay. So now you tell me, I may be the world's richest person. Okay. Is it in the real figures or is it a market value? Okay. If no one buys that share, I'm not the richest. Avuna kada? So the meaning enti? The market value is something which is different from the actual value. Right? Is it the real, say, mana Tesla vaadu unnadu, okay, atanu world's richest, okay, but is he really having the cash reserve in the hands? No, it is just a market value of the company, market value of the shares. Sometimes market value may be increased or decreased. All of a sudden you may become rich, and if no one buys, it may become zero also, right? So valuation lo you can do such frauds. high value shares may be highly valued fraud. So all accounting related frauds you can do. Enron company, US based. తర్వాత waste management fraud, అది కూడా US. 4Z best company, carpet cleaning company, fraud 300 million. Carpet cleaning company $300 million fraud. Wirecard company $2 billion. Wells Fargo and Co. See, bank opened fake accounts of clients. There is no reason. Fake accounts. So why do they happen? Please read. Can I go to next area? Fraud risk management. Fraud risk management. So we just need to reduce the risk of fraud. How is this possible? So first of all, we need to understand three elements. Triangle. So what are the pressures? Rationalization and opportunities. If you can reduce those three, then obviously fraud risk will be reduced. Yes. The three elements of fraud are opportunities, rationalization, and pressures. Pressures. It can happen. It can be any type of, see here, it can be any type of pressure on top, middle, lower levels of management, which may result into fraud. Example, personal and financial problems of the employees. Okay, which may lead them to commit fraud. Okay. Generally, we see these type of frauds in movies. Okay, serious గా ఉంటది hero father కి. Okay, hero father is suffering with some disease. Okay, and for that reason he needs some money, and that money will be stolen from the organization. Okay, pressure. ఇది కూడా pressure. ఏది financial problem. This may be the reason. Next one, personal addictions such as gambling, drugs. Okay, this is also a problem. Not a problem. Gambling, drugs కోసం the money is stolen. Unrealistic deadlines and goals. This is the example I have taken earlier. What was the example? Sales target is there. So instead of achieving the target, he has done a fraud and achieved it. Okay, so this is first one. Pressure. What is second one? Opportunity. ఎయిర్టెల్లో కొత్త ఆప్షన్ వచ్చింది కదా, వచ్చిన కాల్ స్పామ్ అని చెప్తుంది అనమాట ఆప్షన్. నాకు ఏ ఫోన్ వచ్చినా సస్పెక్టెడ్ స్పామ్ అనే వస్తుంది. ఏ అన్నోన్ నెంబర్ సస్పెక్టెడ్ స్పామ్ అంటుంది. ఆ స్పామ్ అని నాకు భయం వేసి ఎత్తట్లేదు. అవి ఇంపార్టెంట్ కాల్స్. ఎవరు ఫోన్ కాల్ అయితే సస్పెక్టెడ్ స్పామే. ఆర్టిఫిషియల్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్ దే యూస్డ్ to identify this suspected spam accounts, but which was failed. Opportunities. No, when one knows weaknesses in the internal controls in terms of Supervision ఇది. Supervision and review. Separation of duties. Management approval. System controls. See here, I know the software which is not properly secured. There is no proper password. Can I misuse or not? Yes, there is a bank account of this organization. I know the password. Can I override and get the money or not? Yes. So this may give me the opportunity to commit the fraud. Rationalization. See, when one develops justification for his fraud, why I'm doing this fraud, and he has that justification. Example, if you don't get a raise or promotion, stealing the money from the boss is justified. Justified only. Put it away. Next one. Note. If a company wants to minimize the happening of frauds, one of the elements in the triangle must be broken. Among all elements, opportunity can be minimized by making effective. Okay, out of these three, what can be minimized? Opportunities can be minimized by keeping absolute internal controls properly. Because other two, it is not there in your hands. The financial problems of the employees, so it is not in your hands to control. And even rationalization, to some extent it is possible. Better increase their salary. Okay, but if you are also in crisis, it is not possible, right? So it is also not in your hands. Only thing which is there in your hands is keeping the internal controls, and that is opportunity. So try to eliminate the opportunity which can be given to the employee for the purpose of doing fraud. Okay, if you eliminate it by keeping good internal controls, and it is possible way, right? So with this we completed first area of this chapter, first area. Okay, now we will try to understand red flags. These are not red flags what we see in Instagram lo red flags, cinema chatting language lo red flags, green flags, like Vishnu, like Pawan Teja green flags avi kaadu. Pawan Teja red green అదే రిస్క్, పెళ్ళికి ముందు చేసేస్తాం అలా అనమాట. సో నౌ రెడ్ ఫ్లాగ్స్. Come to second point. Later we'll go to first one. Red flag means only an early warning signs. It is not a confirmation. Red flag and what is red flag? Warnings. Yes, there may be a possibility of misuse of assets. Well, this is a warning. Okay. See, red flag means only an early warning signs and indicators that the fraud risk is higher without evidence of its occurrence. Okay, once it has happened, you will not be in a position to identify it. However, there may be a chance of happening, and hence this is called as red flags. Red flags may be generally identified by the employees and management. Management red flags unte, employee red flags also will be there. See, first point now, one who knows and should be aware of the red flags are management and employees. If one or two red flags are there, it can be ignored. One or two red flags, any case possible. One or two red flags eppudu untayi, that risk will be always there. Risk free environment won't be in existence. Definitely there will be red flags. One or two it can be ignored. However, if it happens frequently, often OFTEN, okay, frequently or multiple times, it is better to place internal audit department. Okay, when there are more red flags and early warning of what? Fraud risk. Fraud may take place. And a red flag, one or two can be ignored, but multiple times if it is there and frequently it is happening, then need of keeping the internal audit department must be there, right? So employee red flags. Employee red flags ante endo చూద్దాం. Okay, so let's see what is employee red flag. So say example, in this organization Vishnu is working. Okay, Vishnu is getting around 50,000 rupees per month. Okay, till yesterday he came by bike to the organization from home by bike. Okay, all of a sudden today he attended this organization, he came by Rolls Royce అంత వద్దులండి, బెంజ్లో వచ్చాడట. సడన్ గా ఆల్ రిమైనింగ్ ఎంప్లాయీస్, హౌ ఇస్ దిస్ హ్యాపెన్, హౌ కెన్ దిస్ బి పాసిబుల్ అని చెప్పి అడగచ్చు. ఎలా రెంటా? రీజన్ రెడ్ ఫ్లాగ్ అంటే ఇట్ ఈస్ ఓన్లీ అన్ వార్నింగ్, ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ ఎ కన్ఫర్మేషన్. ఓకే, దెన్ ద ఇన్వెస్టిగేషన్ మస్ట్ బి దేర్. Then we'll come to know, is it a rented one, or is this the one which he bought by using the money of the organization which he has obtained from the organization in wrongful ways, right? So first red flag, lifestyle changes. Lifestyle changes, what is the example? Bike to car. Okay, bike to car. Next, credit or personal debt problems. Credit or personal debt problems. There is an employee who is facing huge trouble. Huge borrowings are there. Trouble, he is facing trouble. Then there may be a possibility that he may misuse the money of the organization. So credit or and personal debt problems. Debt problems and huge borrowings. He is suffering with that borrowings. Behavioral changes like drugs, gambling, alcohol. Okay, drugs ki once you are addicted, then you will do everything to get that money. From that money you can buy drugs, right? And to get the money they do everything. It may be illegal activity also, it may be a fraud also, and hence observe those kind of changes in the employees. A changes, drug addiction, alcohol addiction, etc. Okay, because to fulfill their needs they'll go to highest extent to get the money. So fraud may be one of those things that they commit, right? So point number 3, is it clear or not? So ఏం అబ్జర్వ్ చేయమన్నాడు ఎంప్లాయీస్ లో? బిహేవియరల్ చేంజెస్, ఎనీ హ్యాబిట్యుయేటెడ్ థింగ్స్ లైక్ గ్యాంబ్లింగ్, బెట్టింగ్, ఎక్సెట్రా. ఓకే, రిఫ్యూజల్ టు టేక్ sick leave or vacation. Okay, so generally this will happen. Say example, this is my position, I am the cashier. Regularly I am taking 20% of cash what I receive to my home. Okay, నేను ఏం చేస్తానంట, కేర్ఫుల్గా ఐఎమ్ కమిటింగ్ ద ఫ్రాడ్ సిన్స్ మెనీ ఇయర్స్. వన్ ఫైన్ డే my superior, he asked me to go for a vacation, and I am given with some flight tickets of Bangkok, and they asked me to go there, take the vacation of 10 days. Okay, if I go there, my superior will make someone to sit in my place and I may be caught. నేను దొరికిపోవచ్చు. Okay, so whatever I am doing since many years, it may be identified by the new person, right? And for this reason I am not accepting that vacation at all. I am not going to Bangkok వదిలించుకుంటున్నానట. Then the doubt may arise, why is he not going? Even with the money of the organization, he is not visiting any country. ఇది మంచోడే. Okay, so this may be the reason. See, refusal to take sick leave, జ్వరం వచ్చింది అది మానేట్లేదట. He is not taking any leave, he is not taking sick leave, he is not going on any vacation, he is regularly attending. It may be a red flag. Okay, sincerity ayi undachchu, that we cannot say. Last one, lack of segregation of duties in vulnerable areas. Segregation of duty. Say, one best example what I can take is cashier. Okay, the person who takes money it should be verified by some other person. So the person who collects money is different. The person who verifies the cash must be different. So segregation of duties. ఎందుకంటే cash is most vulnerable. Vulnerable అంటే ఏంటి? More possibility is there to remove cash. Because it is very easy to carry. అవునా కదా? Even gold. It is very easy to carry. So there is high possibility to be misused. అక్కడ lack of segregation of duties ఉన్నాయంట. Then possibility, it is a red flag. Red flag అంటే ఏంటి అసలు? It is a warning of fraud risk. This may happen. This risk is there. And a warning. That is called as what? Red flag. So employee side నుంచి these are the red flags. These are the examples. Okay? Management red flags. This frequently spelling wrong. See, management frequently overriding అది overriding కాదు. Overriding internal controls. Management frequently overriding the internal controls. ఇదేనా ఏంటి 10% డిస్కౌంట్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్పండి. 10% డిస్కౌంట్ కెన్ బి సైన్డ్ బై whom, కెన్ బి ఆథరైజ్డ్ బై whom? సేల్స్ మేనేజర్, రైట్? 10%. సో మోర్ దెన్ 10% it is not supposed to be given by the manager, more than 10%. But every time he is trying to give that more than 10% discount without having any justification. Okay, is this a fraud or not? Every time he is giving the authorization, overriding the internal control, giving the discount more than 10% to their relatives or someone else. Either I ఉండొచ్చు. It may be the risk. Management is overriding the internal controls which are put in place in the sales. This is the problem. Majority of the decisions are influenced by individuals or small groups. Okay, this may also be the red flag. Say example, there is one person who is always taking the decision. Say in a company, board of directors are there. Board of directors lo most majority of the decisions are influenced by only one person. Okay, అతను ఏమనుకుంటున్నాడు, వాట్ ఎవర్ హీ థింక్స్ హీ డస్. There may be a possibility of individual decision making అన్నమాట. He is not involving everyone. He is taking on his own the decisions. It may be the possibility. Non-documentation and policies and procedures. Okay, the management is not maintaining the recorded documents while executing their works. Hiring non-qualified staff for accounting department. See, accounting department lo who needs to be hired for big companies? Accounting experts. Maybe a CA or CMA, these are the persons must be hired. Okay, so we'll just know this company is hiring accounting staff, BCom 6 years. Is a qualified BCom person who completed BCom in 6 years. ఆ పర్సన్ తీసుకొస్తున్నారట for doing what? Accounting. There may be a mistake which may take place in the preparation of financial statements. Possible. Decentralization without adequate monitoring. Decentralization without proper monitoring. Decentralization అంటే ఏంటి? Decentralization. Say I have 10 branches. Okay, all 10 branches ki there is only one place where we do accounting. This is called centralization. Okay, so the owners need to come here and check all the branch accounts. Whereas when the accounting is now divided for all the branches separately. Okay, and now the owners are required to go to every branch to verify the accounts, and such monitoring is absent now. Absence of monitoring, and again it is decentralized. Then there may be possibility of fraud happening in the branches because no one is monitoring, and that is a possibility. Management level red flag. More employee turnover. What is employee turnover? People are coming, they are going out. They are joining and they are moving out. More employee turnover ఉంది. Okay, what may be the reason? Management మీరు ఏం చేస్తారంటే, I am the senior person here who is committing the fraud. I have all seniority in committing frauds. Okay, you people are the employees. After you are engaged in your employment, within 1 or 2 months you identified something ఏమని, that I am doing the fraud. Okay, what did you identify? That the senior is doing the fraud. And immediately what I will do, I will remove all of you. I will keep some new employees. Okay. Again, after 2 months, they will identify. I will remove them. Again, new employees. What is happening here? Employee turnover is there. Employees are joining and they are moving out. What is the reason for the same? Because the management, the senior person is committing the fraud to avoid such things into getting caught. So what I am trying to do, removing the employees from your place. Simple. So management కాదు, more employee turnover. Photocopied missing documents. Okay, important documents are always getting missed. పోతున్నాయంట. Forward intentionally someone is doing the same. That may be the reason. These are all the red flags which may be from the side of employees and the management. Okay, please read this point. Complete these red flags. If any dishonest, unethical, fraudulent act occurred and suspected by anyone, then he should not attempt to contact the suspected person, because it may alert the suspected person that the investigation may take place. So if you have doubt on any person, don't let him know. Okay, if you let him know, what will happen? He will be alert. Okay, he will cover up everything. Anduku you don't alert him. Note point is also easy. Latest development in SEBI regulations. SEBI regulations lo kuda they discussed about frauds. Indukante corporate frauds kada. So SEBI is also concerned with that frauds. And first one, they made an amendment which came on 8th October 2020. And the amendment says, being a listed company, if any forensic audit takes place in a company, it shall be reported to whom? Stock exchange. See, there is a company which is listed. Okay, there is a company called Reliance Industries Limited which is listed with stock exchange. Okay, and in that company, board of directors identified certain mistake, fraud, and they appointed forensic auditor to identify the fraud. This has happened within the company or not? And that appointment must be now informed to whom? Recognized stock exchange in which that company gets listed. Okay, there is a listed recognized stock exchange into the NSE, National Stock Exchange is there, and in this Reliance company is listed. Okay, Reliance company lo there is a mistake happened, fraud happened, and Reliance company board of directors appointed forensic auditor to conduct forensic audit. This has happened in the organization, and this must be first reported to whom? NSE. Okay, stock exchange ki first report cheyali. And this is the regulation which came in the year 2020. So SEBI has implemented this regulation, making the companies responsible to report happening of forensic audit in their company first to whom? Recognized stock exchange. Okay, SEBI ఏం చేసింది, it is now mandatory for every listed company. Once there is any fraud happened in that organization, or once there is any forensic audit happened in that organization, that thing must be informed to whom now? Recognized stock exchange. Read the first point now. Second point. Write it as initial stage. First, initial. Once the forensic audit is started in that company, initially it needs to be informed to whom? Stock exchange. What should be informed? The fact that forensic audit is started. This fact must be informed. And name of the entity and reason for the same. Why the forensic audit is implemented? Is started. Reason. And audit అయిపోయిన తర్వాత at the end, after the audit is done, final forensic audit report and comments of the management on the same. And this should also be informed to whom? Recognized stock exchange. So what is the amendment for SEBI regulation now? SEBI regulation now made it mandatory for every listed company. If there is forensic audit happened in that company, initially it must inform to recognized stock exchange. Why it is started, the fact that it is started, and what is the reason for the same, and what is the name of the entity. At the end of the forensic audit, submit the report of the forensic audit. Forensic auditor's report must be submitted, right? And forensic audit report అయిపోయిన board of directors comments, management comments on the same must also be given to whom? Stock exchanges. అయితే this forensic auditor's report shall not be furnished first to public, because public will be at panic. Again, it is their money, right? Listed company, in listed companies, who are the investors? General public. Okay, if any huge fraud, if it takes place in the organization, it must not be first exposed to public. So say example, I worked for 40 years. Okay, finally I got some huge money, and all the money I invested in a company. Okay, share price 100 rupees. Today I invested. Tomorrow, all of a sudden, what happened? There is a fraud which is exposed, and my share of 100 rupees came down to 1 rupee. What will happen to me? Heart attack. There is no doubt. Okay, అలాంటి చేయకూడదు. First of all, it must not be exposed to public, because it may lead to high level of anxiety. Sleep fall కాదు, steep fall. అది steep sleep fall. ఇంకో స్టూడెంట్ రాయించి నేను ఒకటి రాస్తే చూసాను రాస్తా.
మీ రైటింగ్ చూసి రాస్తాను.
Steep fall in stock price. Panic among investor community. That's why it shall be first published to recognized stock exchange. RSC ante, what is RSC? Recognized stock exchange. Why is it first informed to RSC but not public? Ante these are the reasons. Sudden fall in the stock price from 100 rupees, it may fall down to 1 rupee. Avachchu. Lot of times it happened. 2500 rupees unnadi 10 rupees ku vachayi. So all of a sudden, whatever the investment we make, it may become zero. Heart attack, there is no other possibility of escaping from it.
పేటిఎం ఐపీఓ
బోల్డ్ ఇలాంటి చాలా అవుతాయి. అంటే పేటిఎంలో ఫ్రాడ్ కాదు కదా, ఐపీఓ ఇస్ సంథింగ్ డిఫరెంట్. నేను బికాస్ ఆఫ్ ఫ్రాడ్ దిస్ హ్యాపెన్స్.
వాల్యూ పడిపోయింది కదా,
ఫ్రాడ్ వాల్యూ పడిపోవడం, ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ బికాస్ ఆఫ్ ఫ్రాడ్, రైట్? పేటిఎం, ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ బికాస్ ఆఫ్ ఫ్రాడ్. People are not interested in it. అందుకు the demand is not there and the price has fallen down. No, it is not because of fraud. Paytm. I am not Satyam. It is because of fraud. All of a sudden the stock price is fallen. Okay. Yes, half of the chapter is over. Tomorrow we'll complete this chapter. There are another 6 to 7 pages. Tomorrow we'll be able to complete this. Okay, in another 2 or 3 days, the next chapter is also over. Anti-money laundering.